guys, it's Jessica with Southern Sparrow, and we are in Maj 102 right now, and we're going section by section in the National Mahjong League card. So we are going to look at the 2, 4, 6, 8 section. That's the even numbered section. And there's something that's important to know about this section. And really, let me identify a couple of sections that are this way. 2025, 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 3, 6, 9. Those sections are mostly as written, meaning the numbers are going to be the numbers that are printed minus a couple of hands. So let's walk through this 2, 4, 6, 8 section, and we will talk about the couple of hands where you have that flexibility. The first thing I want to highlight is just, this is the first section on the card where you'll encounter a two-sided hand, meaning it's shown in two different ways with the word or in between it. So you can play it. Let's look at this first line on 2, 4, 6, 8. Again, if you have your card in front of you, it will be easier. I know sometimes it can be rather tiny print to look at my card. So get out your National Mahjong League card and follow along. It'll make it a lot easier to go through this video. Heck, get your tiles out and follow along. That will even cement it further as you're trying to get better at this card. Okay. We're looking at the first line of 2, 4, 6, 8, and you'll see that it's printed in all navy, all one suit. Remember, one color means one suit, all one suit. And then on the right-hand side, it's printed in two colors, meaning two suits. You can play the hand either way, and it says that in the parentheses, any one or two suits. So I've laid that out both ways here. So if we look at this top rack that I have here, I've done that in all one suit. We've done it in all dots here. So we have our 3 2 dots, 4 4 dots, 3 6 dots, and 4 8 dots. And that matches the pattern of the hand on this left-hand side where it's in all navy blue. But if we look on the other side of the card, this gives you a second option of how you can play it. That's in two suits. So I've laid it out here in cracks and bams. So I have my 3 2s in cracks. I have my 4 4s in cracks. Then where the color changes on the hand is where I'm going to change my suit. So it goes from green to red between the 4s and the 6s. That's how we know the 6s are a different suit. So we've got our 3 6s in bams and our 4 8s in bams. And I've thrown a joker in here as well. So these are the two ways you can play that hand. Now, just to clarify, we can do it this way. If you're playing the two suit way, the suits do not need to match the colors. They can be any two suits. So you could play it this way here with your 2s and 4s in dots and your 6s and 8s in bams. So that's the flexibility there between the two sides. It's typically allowing you to do it in different suits, either in all one suit or in multiple suits. So make sure you're looking all on this card. You'll see lots of examples where it's played either in all one suit or in multiple suits. And you want to make sure that you're looking at that because that opens up additional ways to play the hand. Okay, so that is the right versus the left. Now let's talk about a couple of hands where you have some flexibility. So let's get these racks out. Oopsies. Well, actually I might need some of these tiles. So we'll take them off the racks. Okay. So we're gonna get rid of those racks and we're gonna slide this rack in. So let's look at this one. This is a hand that has a little flexibility in the numbers as printed. So we are looking at the fourth line down in 2, 4, 6, 8. That's our section of the day. We have 4 flowers. It's shown with 2, 4, 6, 8 in one suit. And then it's shown with 2s and 2s in opposing suits. But if you read the parentheses, it says any 3 suits. So we know that it's any 3 suits because it has all 3 colors. And then it says like pongs, any even number. Remember, a pong is a group of 3 like tiles. So it's saying like pongs, meaning both pongs need to be the same number, but they can be any even number. So it's shown in 2s, right? 2 pongs of 2s in different suits, but I've displayed it here in 6s. So we have our 4 flowers, we have our 2, 4, 6, 8 in the bams, and then I've chosen to do 6s in cracks and in dots. So again, you could not do 6s and 2s or 4s and 2s. You would need to do 6s and 6s or 4s and 4s or 2s and 2s or 8s and 8s. But any even number can make up these pungs as long as they match each other and are in different suits. So we know we need all 3 suits. I've chosen to do it as bam, crack, dot, but you could certainly do dot, bam, crack, or crack, dot, bam, or whatever. The suits, again, are interchangeable as long as you follow the pattern on the hand. So we have our 4 flowers. We have 1 suit for the 2, 4, 6, 8. We have a 2nd suit for our first pung, and we have our 3rd suit for our 2nd pung. And those pungs can be any even number as long as the pungs are the same number. So it can be 2s and 2s, 4s and 4s, 6s and 6s, 8s and 8s. So read those parentheses because that's where you get this extra flexibility. All of a sudden, I have 6 other ways that I can build this hand that I couldn't have built it if I was leaving it to just 2s. So that is that line. Now, the other line that has some flexibility is this second from the bottom line in 2, 4, 6, 8. So let's look at that. So I think I have to steal some tiles from our other hands that we've built. So let's look at what that hand even says. That hand tells us a pair of flowers, a Kong, 4 of a kind, 2s, a Kong of dragons in a different suit, and a Kong of 2s in a 3rd suit. And we're going to read the parentheses that says any 3 suits. That confirms it. It's printed in all 3 colors, but it tells us in the parentheses any 3 suits. And then our parentheses say, like Kongs, any even number. So this is very similar to the hand that we just talked about where we switched our 2s for our 6s. Instead, in this one, it's shown as 2s. I have it as 8s here. And actually, this is confusing. So, we can't do it with those ones, but we can do it with these ones. So, we have all 3 suits, and I'm doing it in 8s. So I have my pair of flowers here. This is our country club set, so they're a little whimsical. I have my pair of flowers. I have my 8 cracks. I have my white dragons, also known as the soap. I have my 8 bams. Now I could also do this hand. Let's see. We need a different dragon if we're going to do 4 dots. So let's do a red dragon, which means we then need to find the 4 bams. Here we go. And we'll grab a joker. So that hand could also be played this way, where I have my pair of flowers, I have my 4 bams, I have red dragons, which is a different suit than the bams, and then I have my 4 dots. So I have all 3 suits, and I've changed out the numbers to a different number than what is printed because I followed what the parentheses tell me. So the other hand below, the last hand on this section, also allows like pungs any even number. So read those parentheses, get familiar with where you have flexibility. So you have the flexibility on the left and the right between multiple suit options. You either play it as all 1 suit, or you play it as multiple suits, or you can play things with extra different numbers. Now, one hand that I didn't lay out here, this second line down, the right and the left is not a change in suits. Instead, the right and the left change the numbers, but it must be played as those numbers only. So you can choose to play it as flowers, flowers. Here, actually, let me lay one out. Flowers, let's see, it's 2s, 4s, and 6s for the first one. And they're in different suits. So we would need 2s, 4s, and let's grab some 6s. Here, we'll throw a joker in here. So you could play it this way, right? Now, sometimes this can be confusing when you have a plus and an equals. There used to be a section called addition hands. That's not on this card, but you just ignore those. It's not a tile. It's just a cute way to make the hand. So 2 plus 4 equals 6. We know that. So that's what the plus and the equals is. You don't need to try to find a tile that equates to that. It's just to make it cute. If you're ever confused about, like, is that symbol supposed to be a tile? Just count. You should have 14 tiles in a hand when you win it. So obviously you can't count the plus and the equals sign because that would give you 16 tiles you would need to have. You need 14. So we can play it as it's shown on the left side, which is flower, flower, 2s, 4s, 6s in all 3 suits. The parentheses say any 3 suits, but they have to be played as written. So if you play the right-hand side, instead you're doing 2 plus 6 equals 8. So we would be doing 2s, 6s, and let's see, we need 8 bams. Here we go. 8s. So that is the variation on those 2 hands between right and left. I didn't want you to think that always right versus left is one suit versus multiple suits. In this instance, it's one group of numbers versus a different group of numbers, but they're following the same structure and pattern, and that's why they're on the same line. So again, read the card. Let's look at both the left and the right hand side options, and let's read those parentheses. Make sure we understand where it says that the numbers can be variable, meaning like in these cases, it's all like pongs or like kongs, any even number. So it's printed as 2s, but can be played as 2s or 4s or 6s or 8s. So that's our 2, 4, 6, 8 section. And next I'll be coming to you with the any like number section. Happy Mahjong, y'all.